Welcome to the Mythical Expanse, a world filled with mystery, adventure, and endless possibility. My name is Little Nicky, and today we begin a brand new Minecraft series. So make sure to hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and let's get on with the adventure. Alright, so starting out a brand new Minecraft world here in this beautiful landscape. I can see a village already right out here in front of us. It looks like we got an ocean behind us as well as a bunch of turtles here. And yes, we are starting out with a bonus chest, just giving ourselves a little bit of a leg up here. Nothing too serious, obviously, but we got a couple of salmon and we got a stone pickaxe already, which is kind of nice. And I am going to take this chest and these torches with us. Like I said, just giving ourselves a little bit of a leg up. It doesn't help us too much. We can get these materials pretty quick and early, but it does give us a little bit of a benefit of not having to worry about that so much. But obviously, with a brand new world here, we have a bunch of exploring to do. We got to find a place where we can set up shop, build a nice house, and it looks like we have another village right over there as well. So we're going to do a little bit of looting. And I see a couple of sheep up here, so that will give us the bed that we need. Let's get this guy. Yeah, that's one wool down already. So let's keep going here, and let's continue to raid this village and look for any good loot that we can find. And all right off the top here, we got a couple of apples, some potatoes, and the bundle. I have to say so myself that I do love the bundle. It really does help kind of compact everything as you get started here early on in the game. Like, oh, look, we just freed up a ton of space so we can continue to do a ton more looting around this village and things like that. So I do like the bundles. Happy to have them in the game. All right, not too much to speak about here in this village. We were able to loot a few of their hay bales so that we could make ourselves some bread. But aside from that, not too much to talk about here. So let's move on to the other village we saw just on the other side of this hill right over there and see if we can't continue finding some loot. And another village down, not too much to talk about here either. We were able to find ourselves a leather cap, steal a couple of furnaces, and a grindstone for the future, and for some good decoration. But we are going to continue to move on. I think I'm actually going to go back towards where we spawned and past that village over there, because I think I saw some cool terrain generation over there, so I think I'm going to go take a peek at that. But first, as nightfall approaches here, we need to make ourselves a bed real quick, and I did grab some blue flowers so that we don't have to have a stinky old white bed. We can actually have a nice colorful bed. So let's pop that down here, and our wood is actually hiding in here. I think I'm just going to grab these 3 oak planks that we have and make ourselves a quick, nice little blue bed. And just like that, we have survived our first day in the new Minecraft world. It is so wonderful. And I think that's a new village. I don't think we've been to that village, right? That's our spawn village. So we actually have another village right up here. That's perfect. But that's actually where I want to head off. You can kind of see some of the terrain in the smoke over there. That's kind of where I want to head to. I think there's some nice looking mountains over there that might be good for our starter base. Looking over this terrain where these mountains are kind of just coming out of the ground, and we have this kind of bowl shape where we can kind of come in between all of the mountains and kind of set up a little bit of a civilization in here. I think this is a tremendous spot to kind of settle down and claim as our own. And on the other side of this mountain range, kind of outside of where we would put our town or our civilization, I think that'd be a perfect spot to set up our starter house for ourselves and kind of expand out from there. Right about here, I think would be a really fun spot to put our starter house. We'll have to do a ton of terraforming and things like that to make this area look a little more beautiful, but I think that is a challenge that we are more than capable of achieving. So yeah, I think what we're gonna do is kind of set out some chests and throw our stuff in it so that we don't lose it, and just do a little bit of more exploring, because back where we spawned, there was that ocean, and oceans are a great spot for early game loot. Now back over here towards spawn, I did build ourselves up a boat, so we're gonna head out on the water and try to find a shipwreck or two so we can lead ourselves to some buried treasure, because I did make ourselves a shovel too, so that'll help us out. Ooh, and I can actually see a shipwreck right up above us here, so we're gonna head off over there and see what we can't find. And just like that, we found our first diamond without even having to go mining. Just very simply found a shipwreck and a buried treasure, and we already have diamonds. That is perfect. And with little time spent in this world already, we have 41 iron ingots, 3 diamonds, enough to make a diamond pickaxe already, as well as some gold and some other trinkets here. Everything is looking really, really good already, and we've only spent 2 in-game days in this world. But yeah, we have a nice little setup here and everything. So what I want to do now, I think, is actually use a little bit of this iron to make a full iron suit for ourselves. Maybe grab a sword and a shield and then head off into the caves. Okay, here we are, and here we go. We got to go ahead and light this area up a little bit as we just got down here, just to keep ourselves a little bit more safe, as we can definitely see some creepers there. But yeah, let's run around and light this up a little bit. We're gonna have to find some coal also so that we can make up a few more torches, because we didn't have a ton. Let's get out of here. Woo. All right, we are okay for now. Yeah, this is perfect. We're going to be able to find a bunch of the raw materials down here. We're going to gather up all this iron and stuff, because we are going to go through these iron tools pretty quick. But if we can find some diamonds, that'll help us get started here early on in this game as well. Hey, stop it. Stop hitting me. Ow. Come on. Whew. Okay. We're okay. We are okay. We're back. Whew. Okay. Let's eat a little bit of food here, and just to keep ourselves safe. What is that I see right over there? That is some diamonds. Our first mined diamonds are right in front of us, guys. So let's get around these zombies here. Let's grab our torches and just lay these out real quick. Okay. We're fine. We're fine. Oh, look at them. Look at them. Let's make sure we have our iron pickaxe out here in front of us. And there they are. So now we have a total of 4 diamonds already. This is perfect. Okay, we just found a skelly spawner down here. I am kind of surrounded at the moment, but man, that's perfect. We just found a skelly spawner, so we're going to be able to make up a bone meal farm here pretty early on, which is going to be super helpful. One of the best things you can do early on is get a skelly spawner, so that you can pretty much have an infinite amount of bone meal, and yeah, you don't have to worry about it too much, which is really, really nice. And we also get a little bit of loot. Riptide 1, that's pretty neat. I'll take that. I'll take pretty much everything that's in this chest right now as well. We can always throw them into our bundle. Oh, and a little bit of extra stuff here as well. So yeah, this is awesome. All right, so we've made it back home here with a full inventory of supplies, including 5 new diamonds to add to the 3 that we've already found. We actually got a couple of bows here too, and I don't typically use bows, but they are useful for redstone components, so that is nice. We also got another stack of raw ore and a couple of stacks of copper, so we're gonna take the time to smelt this all down over here and get ourselves some of the materials here cooked up. And then what I'd like to do while that's cooking is actually level out this area a little bit and bring in the foundation for our house. Okay, and there you can see it, the foundation for our starter base using our granite and some bricks that we gathered up as well. And yeah, I think this is going to work perfectly for us. It's not too large and it's not too small, so we'll have plenty of room for storage and any other miscellaneous decorations and stuff that we would like to do on the inside of this as well. So I think this is a perfect size for us. We obviously need to finish building this thing up, which means we're gonna have to go off and find a bunch of different types of wood materials and any other kind of miscellaneous things like moss and stuff like that as well. So yeah, we're gonna have to run off and do that. Which you can see I've actually already gathered up a little bit of materials and stuff and cleaned out my inventory. So we are good to run off and find that. But I also went and found a lodestone at a nearby ruined portal and made ourselves a compass that will lead us right back home. So this is not going to be too difficult to find because we are actually playing in large biomes, which means we're going to have to travel several thousand blocks in order to find any of the wood types that we really want. Things like jungle wood is going to be a little bit more rare to find. We're gonna have to do a little bit more exploring, things like that. So we are off on a large adventure here, and let's get started. right, ladies and gentlemen, so with about 6,500 blocks traveled here, I think we have gathered up all of the materials that we need with a pretty much full inventory. You can see we have 2 full bundles, and these guys are pretty filled up as well. But we have a bunch of different saplings and different flowers and all kinds of other miscellaneous items, as well as a bunch of wood to get started. But now it's time to journey back home and get our starter base built up. All right, after doing all that adventuring, I needed to kick my feet up a little bit and do a little bit of relaxing down here at the beach, do a little bit of fishing, and just kind of unwind a little bit. And if you can see over here in the distance, we also did a little bit of breeding with some local sea turtles. So we have a couple of eggs. We got 1 in there, and I think we have 2 or 3 in there with Mama hanging out. So yeah, these should be hatching in the next evening. We'll have to stay close by in order for them to hatch and grow up into full turtles. That way we can get some turtle scoop. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool that we could just do a little bit of breeding while we were down here relaxing, as I said. But unfortunately, I think it's time to get back to the grind and get our starter base built up. So when it comes to building up our house here, what I like to do is first start out with the shape of our building, which we've already done here with our foundational blocks. And then I like to come in with a little bit of trim on the corners and count how high we want for our first floor. And in this building specifically, we aren't going to be doing a full second story to this building. It's all going to be just 1 story. So I like to come in here and count. So we're going to go 1, 2, actually, we're using the wrong trim blocks here. I want to use the spruce for the trim. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I actually like to add an 8th block here because what I like to do, and I actually got the wrong set of stairs here, but on the 8th block is where I like to kind of line out where our roof line is going to go. So I'll do something like that. And then inside here where we have kind of this large wall, I'll come through with our main blocks, I guess, main color, and come through here and start laying these out. And actually think we're going to throw a trim block in like this. I could be wrong in that. I had to go look at the design, but I like this. So let's build up this first wall here. Taking a bit of a step back here, you can see that we actually added a little bit of detail throughout as well, kind of just sparsely with the planks inside the stripped logs here, just kind of random throughout, and it adds just a little bit of pop of detail here just to kind of break up the monotony of all of the stripped logs. And you can also see that we've started to frame out our doorway here, keeping the roof lines kind of facing the same direction, but obviously this one being much smaller and just kind of creating nice little triangles here. And then once we get onto the sides, that's when we'll change up the roof angle, bringing it this direction rather than across it here. So yeah, I think we're just gonna kind of plug on here and continue up this build, kind of showing progress updates as we go. All right, a little bit of a progress update here. You can see that we've kind of filled in the whole front face here with our planks and our logs. And then we brought in a couple of windows using the copper grates and split them using the spruce trapdoors. I actually like this technique really well because it kind of adds some depth to the building as well. As you can see, we have some depth here in the windows. So I like doing that. We also brought in our front door and hung a little bit of a lantern here. And we started to progress on the roof. But as you can see, this is still pretty plain. So what I would like to do is come in and add some shutters using the pale oak on the sides of the windows here, and as well add some flower boxes here in the front just to add a pop of color and bring some life to the building in general. And then on the roof, you can see we're just using the spruce stairs currently. But what I would actually like to do is bring in some packed mud bricks to kind of break up the roof as well, adding a little bit of texturing up here as well. I think that'll just kind of bring the whole thing together, add some cohesion to the depth of the building itself. And then beyond that, something that we're going to want to do is add some more life into the whole build on the outside. So I think a tree out here in the front, kind of framing out this window and hiding this corner, would actually look really, really nice, because on this side, we have the front door in that separate peak here. So I think just kind of framing out this window with a little bit of a custom tree would look really nice as well. And then we'll obviously add a chimney on the roof, a stove inside and everything like that. So let's keep plugging on and get into that. All right, as we progress along here, you can see how things are starting to come together a little bit. We have our little sticky tree here, kind of framing out the edge or the corner of this building, kind of breaking things up a little bit. And you can see we've started to add color with our flowers. And since this flower pot right here has these trapdoors on the inside of that block, we actually can't put a flower in it. So in order to kind of get around that, I hung a pot over in this corner and used our spore blossoms. So I think that looks really, really good. And you can't even really tell that there should be a flower in that pot because of this. So I think that works really well. On the back side, we have our chimney here kind of getting built up. We also have another window here and over there. We don't have one on this side because this is actually where our kitchen's going to go. So that is going to just be a flat facing wall. But I think we're all set here to kind of come on into the interior and finish everything up on this build. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and there it is. I think our starter base is sitting in a really good spot here on episode 1 as we kind of make our way up these nice little path that we've made for ourselves and we head on inside. So this is our little kitchen area where we have a bunch of furnaces and a bunch of storage. We have a bunch of storage underneath these chests here, some more barrels and things kind of scattered about. We have all of the benches that we really need here. We can obviously expand this a little bit as we get going. And you can see we have a couple torches up here and in our living room, which once we get our honey kind of situated here, I kind of want to switch those out for some candles, but those work for now. And then, yeah, like I said, as we kind of enter our living room area here, you can see we have some bookshelves, some nice seating areas. We have our lodestone here in the center of the room so that we can always find our way back to our starter base here. We have a nice little frame over our window here and our doggy hanging out. And then if we head our way on upstairs, you can see we have a little bit of room for expansion here. I threw my bed in up here and we still have a few torches just laying about. So we'll have to do a little bit more decorating up there. The other thing I really want to do is come in here and start adding some of the paintings and things throughout as well. But I think this is a good spot for today. So I think that's going to do it for us today, ladies and gentlemen. If you did like the episode, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys later.